Hello, everyone. Welcome back to DreamHack Winter. We are here to complete the last two games of the evening. We have two best-of-3s remaining. How are you doing, Geoff? You excited for these last two games? I personally, I've been waiting for these last two games all day.
This game's been blowing my mind, man.
Blowing your mind? They haven't even started yet. I don't know what would happen after the series completes, if your mind's been blown already. But I am excited for these two games. We do have two excellent Protoss versus Zergs upcoming. We have Jaedong versus JYP. We have 3 EG casted players and 1 neutral. And then we'll be going into this series in a couple of moments' time. What are your thoughts about this series?
Well, I mean, obviously the big favorite is Jaedong, not just because he's a fan favorite, but because he's got the accolades to back it up. JYP, however, I mean, I know, you know, it's one thing. Well, actually, to compare TLO to Jaedong, he's a lot like Jaedong, only a few more weaknesses and not as many strengths. But right, yeah. JYP was able to handle him pretty hard, and he looked really good in that PvZ series. So if that's any kind of indication of what shape and form JYP's in, Jaedong's got to watch his butt.
It's a common trend in Team EG.
Yes.
Okay, let's introduce these two players. Up here to the top left, spawning as the Red Zerg.
What do you think about Akelon Waste as a matter of fact?
It's Jaedong! And down here, as the blue Protoss. On Akelon Waste, a great map, I really do enjoy it. It is JYP!
JYP opening up with that forward pylon, presumably to be joined up here with a forge. This is a big cannon rush map. Hero, many moons ago, made popular a cannon rush that can not only negate the natural, but also threaten this potential third down here, below the natural. And
is this something that you taught JYP to specifically do before he went on stage?
You know what's funny about that? Despite what Reddit would tell you, I did not actually create and then teach all cannon rush forms in StarCraft or StarCraft 2. This has actually predated me. I used to play Zerg, and cannon rushes were part of the reason why I then switched to Protoss. I wanted to do those wrongdoings to everyone else.
And how does that make you feel?
Fantastic. And we can see it's already starting. The hatch. Oh, Jaedong, you're one step ahead of JYP.
Wow.
Such good scout. Such good drone. Wow. Amazing.
And Jaedong doesn't throw down the hatchery there, of course, knows exactly what's going on, is not going to be tricked by this. Let's have a look how much of an investment JYP throws into this. Cannon is already building. He has no idea that drone has seen him from the high ground, by the way, if you didn't know that. And he goes, wait a minute, why is there not a hatchery being built? Why am I alone? And Jaedong's already decided to move his hatchery to a different location. And already is building the cannon back at home. He has no idea what's going on.
Now this puts JYP in a weird spot because it looks like he's going to let that cannon finish, but it's not going to have high ground spotting unless he spends more money yet again. And if this probe dies right here, oh god, JYP! All right,
let's watch this.
It does die. So no high ground spotting, which means a queen or eventually a spine crawler could actually single-handedly take out that cannon. And now JYP's in a really weird spot where he went pylon forge, pylon cannon, cannon, nexus. So this is a very delayed opening for him. It's not optimal at all.
I'm not good enough to ever have the chance to do this to anybody, but I was actually watching a game not too long ago, and you did this to Effort.
Yeah.
You must have had some kind of something wrong, you not like him or something along those lines, but you did it to him.
No, I just, he's a really good player, and Cannon Rush is a nice way for a player to try to win a game that they otherwise probably wouldn't.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to try to do that more often. I probably have to Cannon Rush every single game.
Yeah.
But what do you do when this doesn't work? How do you feel? Well, actually, let's go back to your feelings again, Geoff.
Yeah.
I really want to know, how does it make you feel if this doesn't work?
Well, it's rough. You're obviously pretty far behind, but of course it's always questions of how far behind, and this additional pylon, the second probe, I really feel like JYP should have looked at that and said, okay, that failed, that didn't work, and just kind of taken his losses. The nice thing about Akelon Waste is that you can be behind earlier on, but there's a really good turtley third base that you can take that's very hard for Zerg to be aggressive against, and I feel like not playing to that it's getting a little bit desperate, and Jaedong is capitalizing on this right now.
I managed to speak to JYP earlier, actually, before he played TLO, and he said, yeah, you know who the winner plays? I'm like, yeah, Jaedong. And he's like, oh no, it's going to be so hard if I beat TLO. He already came into this best-of-3 series realizing that this is going to be a very difficult game for him. Yeah. Jaedong, of course, reaching multiple second places, multiple finals, should I say, actually sounds more impressive. And he really has done a great job this year. And
yeah.
JYP, to be honest, has not competed within the World Championship Series.
Right.
I don't think there's too many people out there can say, when was the last time you saw JYP play, and what tournament was it? Not many people are going to be able to answer that this year. And he really hasn't been in the scene that much this last year.
Not nearly as much. You know, he was there throughout the Pro League, had a lot of games, and came in the clutch a few times there. But Pro League was a few months ago, and since then, as you said, he hasn't been a part of WCS. So I feel like a lot of times if you're not doing well in WCS, you better be doing well in these foreigner tournaments, otherwise we just don't hear from you. You know, it's just not nearly as big of a deal. And JYP so far at DreamHack Winter has done fairly well for himself. Had a tough time against a couple of the guys in his group. See, now this, I mean, just give up on it already, actually. It's getting a little bit sad.
Well, the pylon is going to get picked off by that queen. Zealot and Stalker is on the right-hand side here, going towards this third base. Maybe he can pick off a queen here. And there is an Oracle that just popped out somewhere, and that will be going over towards that third as well. And getting damage dealt already to this queen, and he's going to sacrifice these units to do that. He's going to get into the mineral line, and this could be a start of a little comeback here for JYP.
Yeah, no. Okay, just now an additional queen is queued up there, and these drones, they cannot outrun this new Oracle. I mean, the best they can do is to get off this mineral line, because as they remain there, it's just easier shooting and better energy usage for that Oracle. But it's going to get a handful of kills. Already at 5. One of which being a queen, and JYP controlling it nicely as it pulls forward here, doing a lot of damage. And
there is another Oracle being built too, so it's not just a single one. There will be another attack, and twice as strong once that Oracle joins up, and then a Void Ray behind it. Is JYP just going to look to light harass, kill a couple of drones, bring down Jaedong's economy, and then eventually look towards taking a third base? It seems to make the most sense so far.
Yeah, we can already see him kind of chipping away at the rocks over there, and that does suggest that the roadmap you laid out there is exactly true. Even a Void Ray coming up off the Stargate. We've seen this build a few times. The second Oracle is a little bit of a difference. We haven't seen that second Oracle as many times, at least in this tournament. But as you can see here, it's getting its, I mean, it's already worth its weight in gold here, 4 or 5. It's probably going to get a good 5 or 6 drones. There's 6, yep. And it's going to back away, and it can just continue to do that. Let the shields replenish, let the energy build up here, come back, kill another 5 or 6 probes, because the DPS of a queen and a spore probe that's out of position is just not enough.
DPS being damage per second.
Oh, thank you, Apollo. You are so SEXY. Stands for...
I have no idea.
I don't either.
Hydroden is coming down now for Jaedong, and that's going to be, watch this, able to build Hydralisks.
I like it. You can also upgrade him from that.
Fourth hatchery is down for Jaedong as well to further his economy, but look at the style we're seeing from JYP. We have double Stargates backing up the one that's already out there. We are going to have a similar style to what we've seen Naniwal use throughout this tournament. Not just Naniwal, SOS as well. Oh. And Jaedong has spotted it nice and early.
Instantly, and that's so important. This composition is very powerful. It's not like it has... Oh, wow, he's going to cancel right out of it. Now, single Robo's too vanilla for JYP. I'm really anticipating a second Robo. No way he goes that soft. And he actually locked in his probe, I think.
Well, you think he goes to robotics facilities?
I can just kind of feel the JYP cheesiness. He's like, you know what? Going from 3 Stargate to 1 Robo is just too normal. But so far, there's no second Robo, so I could just be kind of making fun of a friend right now. 4 bases up for Jaedong. He does read 3 Stargate. But again, the kind of funny thing about that is like, okay, he cancels and goes to Robo to then switch to Colossus. But we can already see that what's queued up here for Jaedong is going to be Vipers and Hydras, and they can do okay against even that Colossus tech. It's not like it's just some kind of brutal, you know, he's in no man's land there.
You think it's Hive?
No, yeah, for Vipers, almost certainly.
Oh, okay. I thought it might be something else to be able to deal with the Void Rays more with splash damage, maybe Pathogen Glands, or even completely switching up, going for the Enduring Locust.
Okay. Well, you're right. You nailed it.
Yep.
You're a very, very smart man, Apollo.
Yeah, my hair suggests so.
Yeah. Aliens.
So, going over for passing glance here, Fungals is good because if you think about this, they're not going to be as useful against a lot of Colossus and Blink Stalkers. Obviously, they're going to be useful, but not as. But right now, we are going to have to wait and find out. Is Jaedong going to start to piece this together? Surely he's got to be asking himself where the Void Rage, but now the answer's going to be right there in front of him as he sees 3 and can probably still assume that that's still off 3 Stargates. Do you reckon there... I mean, you said that 2 Robotics Facility could give him a power punch where it surprises Jaedong. Is 1 out the question? Is there no surprise factor at all?
No, I mean, at least at this point. Well, let's see how far that Oversteer did take a look in there, actually. I think it actually saw the vacant... Yeah, so it saw that there's now canceled Stargates. The element of surprise is gone, and once you do kind of steer away from triple Stargate, it should be Colossus, we can see. I mean, I guess you could do like an Immortal Templar composition with just a few Void Rays hanging overhead, but the kind of nice thing about what Jaedong's doing is that Infestors, again, we remember this from Wings Liberty, they're that kind of cornerstone unit. Like, they're the answer to just about everything, of course not by themselves like they used to be in Wings Liberty, but now they're a fantastic supplement to any composition you're facing.
I feel that Jaedong ideally would have loved to have a Spire down as these Colossus do start to come out, but he has a lot of units here. There's a lot of Hydralisk, and these Infestors do have enough energy to fungal. If that Mothership Core was to go down at the back there, it would be quite scary here. But
well, this is a tough spot. He can actually just force field that ramp, and, well, he's going to back away, doesn't trust it, but he could have recalled out of there. I think this is actually the right choice for JYP, though, because losing this army is game over. Killing that base is not necessarily game over for Jaedong.
I mean, is JYP actually ready to take this fight? He hasn't even got a single Colossus with this, plus 2 attack. He's not ready. I think he's... I mean, obviously he can poke around here with the Mothership Core being able to recall out, but he's got to be careful not to lose any stragglers here.
He's definitely playing with fire. Looks like Jaedong feels the confidence. He's got the game hubris going on right now. He wants to push in here. There's a couple of Fungals holding him in place. He is going to recall out. The rest of the army's like, wait a second, where the hell did my friends go? They're going to back away here. A Fungal grabbing and snaring this Colossus would be devastating, but it looks like it does squeeze back into the safety of its base. And of course, that's the problem with Akelon Waste. This is a very secure 3-base situation, and Protoss can get so much off of 3 bases. So JYP shouldn't feel a huge urge to get down that ramp, but as I say that, he's going to do it.
He is going to move down here. 3 Void Rays do charge up. Colossus is there, and a second one right behind it. This is not obviously the best fight for JYP. He's kind of funneled down, filtered down, and a lot of Hydralisk and Roaches will do damage. The 2 Colossus dealing out extraordinary amounts of damage as the Hydralisk starting to form here.
Yeah, it's too many Blink Stalkers, and actually it looks like Jaedong does not have... check to make sure it...
Yeah.
It does not have Blink, or excuse me, not Blink, but Burrow. So those Infestors all die. It's a very expensive loss for Jaedong. And behind this, he's going to reset. We can see 17 Hydralisk and some 50-odd Zerglings coming out. But without Infestor support, they're not nearly as scary. Now, that being said, JYP suffered losses here as well. You'll notice there's no sentries, just the 2 Colossus. He, too, has to be careful.
Supplies in favor of Jaedong up to 173, 139, 140 for JYP. 5th base is now being taken. Vipers are on the way. And everything so far is going in favor of Jaedong. But JYP is able now to build a 4th Nexus. He's going to be able to further his economy, further his upgrades, further his technology in this game. Where do you think JYP is looking to go next, though? Is he just going to sit back and defend? Is he maybe going to get a little bit more eager and move out?
Well, he grabs that tower and sees where the 5th base is planned for Jaedong. And this is pretty predictable. That's the normal one. But he at least has an idea of where Jaedong's at in this game. You can see a Warp Prism's queued up. That, to me, suggests aggression. I think he's really going to go for it here. Blink forward, chasing down a couple of those Hydralisks, gets attacks there. Jaedong's got a gigantic surround, but he's got to be careful because part of these surrounds are like just Zerglings, and they're very soft. Jaedong's army's not nearly as scary as it looks, in my opinion, and he's got these Vipers. There's the big abducts.
Massive abduct there. And
all right, now his army looks terrifying. Never mind.
He's looking great. He's up to 200 supply with 25 more Roaches on the way. 1 more Colossus is moving forward here. Mothership Core is taken out. And Jaedong is remaxed immediately. That 4th base, from now, has to be kept alive for JYP, which means he's going to have to defend on the low ground. And that will mean that Jaedong will take a fight. As soon as he's maxed out, he's got to get rid of supply anyway, as his further tech is going to be the greatest spy. We'll want to switch up in a little bit. And we're about to have a fight. Is JYP going to go down to defend it? Is he just going to let Jaedong kill it here?
Jaedong, kind of interesting, not waiting for the Vipers to come over. They're charging up, sucking down some energy, and here they come. Just 2 of them, and again, they're not fully charged, so I think it's about 2 abducts between the 2 of them. But again, he already grabbed 2 Colossus, so with just 2 now for JYP working off that single Robo, His army doesn't pack a whole lot of punch.
Yeah, and
Jaedong's going to collapse in on that 4th, and it's going to be tough for JYP to get down there to do anything.
JYP, if he wants to take a 4th base, if he wants to keep his income running, because his main base is almost run out, he has to go down to kill this army, but he's not ready. He doesn't have what it takes to kill it. Look at the supply differences. And if he doesn't go down to kill it, then he will run out of money. Jaedong's got the greatest fire in the way. What really does he have to stop these units? And one Colossus is dragged out, and the Mothership Core as well. Time Warp's going down. There's quite a few Stalkers here. You may be able to pick a lot of these Roaches and Hydras off. But the real point of this is that the greatest spy's about to finish. He's going to go over to Broodlords, and through losing a lot of these Stalkers, if he wants to keep up the fight, what would he have to stop them?
Jaedong is playing really, real well. JYP in the background does have these Zealots. They kind of sowed some I don't know why I try to say big words anymore. They attacked a base over here, and it did good damage and stuff, and didn't have too good of a damage doing stuff. And
Warp Prison be moving.
Warp Prison be moving. It's still up, though, and the Corruptors are coming out, but they're immediately going to... Well, I thought I saw them coming out. Nope, not just yet. And I like this from Jaedong, though. You'll notice he's almost maxed. There are the Corruptors, but he's making an army to absorb this attack from JYP. JYP has to do amazing damage right now. He's not in great shape.
Jaedong just turned around from his attack on the other side. He's going to hit this army from behind. And JYP does see it and is going to move out. The Warp Prism's going to get picked off. 2 High Templar just instantly killed. Try to get the feedbacks onto those Vipers. And the Vipers are coming for the Colossus. And are we going to see the pulls? Yes, we will.
Yeah, the poor Colossus is not as fast as the rest of that blinking army. One Colossus does die there. Another Abduct should be queued up here in a moment. Any moment.
Nice blink forward there. Does pick off one of them, but in trade-off for 1, 2, maybe 3, 4 Stalkers. And where are those Corruptors? Because the Broodlords are going to be morphed soon. A nice feedback onto that Viper, and JYP chased again back up to his 3rd base. Get the Stalkers.
But actually instantly blinked out of it, too. You're adorable, JYP. I love that. He tried to save this Stalker that got abducted.
But JYP is playing from such a position, so far behind in this game. It's looking almost impossible for him to win this, especially now the Corruptors are out. We will start to see those Broodlords morph eventually here once Jaedong frees up more supply. And there they are, 4 Broodlords.
Well, JYP lives and dies by the double-edged sword that is his aggressive play. I mean, he keeps going out on the map, and to us right now, it looks really futile, right? He's moving out, getting abducted, getting chased, getting shot down. But that's also part of the reason what makes him so dangerous. Had he been able to stabilize the 4th base or not have those initial 2 of 3 Colossus abducted and perhaps done some countermeasures like scouting that out and having Templar for feedback or blinking forward somehow, which is not really reliable, and picking off those Vipers, JYP it would make a lot more sense that he's out on the map right now. But we keep looking at this, and it's like, well, unfortunately for him, the army that continues to move out only has these 2 going on 3 Colossus Templar, and does he have even Storm with them? I don't think he does. No.
Is it wrong that the Titanic theme song is playing in my mind?
As long as it's being played by that shirtless man with the terrible flute or whatever the hell that was.
It's that exact
If it's Celine
song.
Dion in your head, then get with the program. Like,
sorry.
Pull your head out of your ass and start focusing on this really important match. You know what I mean? No jokes.
No messing around here.
No messing
All
around
serious
right
business.
now.
All right, Jaedong is coming in for a victory, because if he picks off this army, there is not much left behind. He's trying to build a 4th base. Warp Prism is still hanging around, dealing a little bit of damage here and there. But JYP is going to have to fight. He can't really afford to lose his 4th base again. He moves down. Is he going to blink forward? No, he blinks backwards.
Yeah.
Going back up the hill, back up this ramp, trying to run to safety. But there is no safety here. These Broodlords, these Roaches, the Hydras, look at this. Stalkers will just absolutely disappear immediately once they blink into these Roaches and the Hydras. Broodlords survive, and JYP drops below 100 supply. Jaedong still up there at 190, 200 supply, and it looks like he is going to take game number 1. In quite convincing fashion there. I think Jaedong may have been expecting to win that game as hard as he did. And he is now 1 more map away from moving to losers round 3, where he would face off against the winner of Naniwa and Leenock, our second and last series of the evening in losers round 2.
Jaedong looking good. His ZvP seems to have been on point at this tournament. He hasn't had the opportunity to play it as much. It's been a lot more ZVT and some ZVZs. But with Naniwa and Leenock coming down the barrel, Jaedong seems to be a scary opponent.
He is very scary, almost as scary as we are casting these games.
We are scary skilled at this thing.
We are scary. I'm not too sure why.
The confidence.
but
And look at Jaedong just cracking
us.
up right now, too. This guy's, he needs to, you know, he's known for his humor. Really funny guy. It's carried him through his career, actually, if you think about it. Relying on gimmicks to get views and whatnot. Idiot.
Happens often in Jaedong's career. It's a sad way to go ahead and get an extra couple.
It's kind of the
Twitter
EG way.
followers or
Like, if you
something.
can't win, you might as well
do something, right? I mean, I might as
JVP,
be wearing,
stoic,
might as well be wearing
serious.
your T-shirt.
Yeah. Both these players put on a good show, though. I mean, JYP gave it pretty good fight there. He gave it his all. As Nathanias would say, he tried his best.
Did try his best.
Yeah.
His best wasn't good enough there.
No, not at all. Came very short. We'll have to try a lot better.
Do you suggest another cannon rush?
No, I don't think so. Jaedong seems to have learned. I mean, the thing is, there's a few maps that are kind of predictable that way, too, like Aklon Waste, Belcher Vestige, even Derelict Watcher. These are some of the maps where you're going to get cannon rushed, I feel, and if the Zergs plan intelligently, as a Jaedong would, they're going to counteract it.
Jaedong, I have seen through a lot of his different games, once he is really dominating, he does often try to just go for these really fast wins. Do you think that's something which could happen on Whirlwind? Does he try to go for something very easy, allowing JYP the opportunity to go through? Or because it's such a big tournament and there is a lot on the line, is he just going to play it safe, make sure he can guarantee the win if he feels the more confident player?
You know, typically I would jump on this opportunity to talk about how Jaedong does like to, if he has a game to give, go for some kind of cheese, go for some kind of fast win. But the map is Whirlwind. It's pretty strong for Zerg. JYP is the player that is, of the two of them, far and away more gimmicky. He relies on some kind of critical tech off of 2-base. I mean, on this very map against TLO, we saw extremely fast DT, which if scouted or sniffed out is really problematic. I mean, TLO was hanging in there for a while, and he lost 9 drones, a hatchery, and had to make spore callers everywhere. But the point is, I feel like Jaedong should play a little bit more defensive and even receptive right now.
Excellent choice of words.
Thank you.
I agree. JYP, questioning what to do, I'd imagine, inside. Maybe he's already got a plan. Maybe I'm talking bollocks, but I don't really know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Make sure to, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, join us on Twitter. Give us your thoughts about the games and us. And we are now ready.
Hashtag DH Open.
Yep.
And if you haven't already, follow us on Twitter. He's Apollo SC2. I'm EG iNcontroL. And they are Liquid Red.
They are Liquid Red.
Yeah.
Okay, please, Geoff, do us the honors of introducing our 2 players, please.
Okay. Down on the lower right-hand side, the Red Zerg from Evil Geniuses. It's Jaedong. He played a great game last game. Apollo, he's playing like a tyrant. Top left-hand side, also from Evil Geniuses, also from Korea, trailing 0-1. It's JYP. And JYP is going to have to give it his all.
He's going to have to try his best. Let's find out what this probe's up to, because he's scouting early. Come on, go for a cannon rush.
He's a dirty bird.
Well, it worked out so
great
if you went for a cannon rush.
Would I be proud of him?
Well, what would you say to him if he did another cannon rush here, which seems, likely?
You mean like after the game, would I walk up to him in his booth and say to him because he cannon rushed again?
No, don't do that now, because that would be inconsiderate of you. I would suggest tomorrow. What would you say tomorrow if he did another cannon rush?
I don't really...
What would you say? I mean, would you be like, unlucky? No?
I don't know.
Okay.
What sound does the fox make? You know what I mean? It boils right down to it.
What does the fox say?
Can I ask a question? Do you have that song in your head now?
So double probes are moving out here by JYP, and it looks
rush.
like we are going to see that cannon rush once again. Fortunately for JYP, that is a hatchery first. And as you can see, the probes decided to play a bit of a game of hide and seek.
Jaedong again. He's like, JYP, I've lived in the same house as you for a couple of years now, and I guess just 1 year. But 1 year's all it takes to find out if JYP is going to cannon rush or not. So far, it's taken us 10 minutes.
Well, Jaedong has found this really early on. He's got a couple of probes, a couple of drones down there, excuse me, but no cannon yet. And spawn and pull is on its way. There's the first cannon. There's the second. Is this going to work?
Well, it kind of depends on what Jaedong wants to do. He's not sending more drones, so I really feel like he's just going to cancel this. He picks off one of the probes. And what he's trying to do is, well, I was going to say he's trying to get JYP to commit to an expensive cannon rush. But I think the timing here lines up really nicely. There's the cancel, so JYP should only let one cannon finish. And that's exactly what he's going to do. And a lot of people, I've actually seen Grubby cancel all 3 cannons. I really like leaving the one, because one cannon at this stage of the game denies that base. Like, it takes so many Zerglings and a Queen to even take out one cannon. And if you make those Zerglings, a lot of times that justifies the cost in and of itself.
Alright, well, Jaedong has no third hatchery yet. He will be wanting to get that down soon enough. He hasn't taken any gases either. And JYP successfully pushed Jaedong away from that natural, and now has got his own Nexus halfway, or just about halfway through completion. It's going to poke inside the main base. Sees nothing on that extractor, sees no drones in between, and even sees the no extractor on location on that assimilator. Knows that there is no form of all-in, or tech, or speed, or anything along those lines. And can just continue on to play a usual game. Where do you think he'll go from? I mean, you know JYP probably better than I do. Where do you think he would go from this? From this cannon rush? Does he go for an immortal push, gateway timing, play normal, fast third?
Well, just JYP as a player, you know, if you were to create a little profile for him and talk about his tendencies, you would very much so count on some kind of, again, I use the word critical, but what I mean by that is just some kind of definitive tech to come off of these 2 bases. He's going to try a really weird cannon rush over here. It's, of course, going to be found. But, you know, again, against TLO, it was DT. This time around, I doubt that. Probably something like Stargate. A lot of times, Protoss in the past have tried to do gateway rush, like 5 or 6 gate against these separated hatcheries, but Zergs this day and age have gotten a lot better about sniffing out and handling those kind of things. We don't see as much 5 or 6 gates.
Could it be an Oracle, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, Stargate's been dominant here. We've seen that a whole bunch.
All right, well, let's find out. There's a 7-minute score is about to complete here, and we will have the tech of choice from JYP very shortly if he does want to tech up at all here. As he has spent his gas into the Stalker and Mothership Core first, so he's not actually rushing out any tech. He could have avoided going for the Mothership Core and got that tech out a little bit faster here.
Yeah, he's even chrono boosting out the Stalker, which is an interesting choice. I mean, against this, JYP knows this is 3 hatch before gas, so he's going to say to himself, I've got some time to use a Stalker to find out additional information, whereas if it was a pretty fast gas with speed, you wouldn't want to be out on the map.
Ooh, look at this. He's throwing down a couple of gateways inside the main.
Yeah, and a fake gas.
And a fake gas, yeah. He's not going to really mine anything from that. And if he does mine from it, he'd probably pull out gas in the main base, I'd imagine.
You know what's so funny about this? Like, I myself have been here before. So this gas, sure, it'll get mined, and he pushed off that Overlord. But let's say he leaves the Stalker there to keep the Overlord away from sniffing out that there's no second gas over the natural. That in and of itself is a tell. But then if you leave, this Overlord can circle around and go check that out now. So it's like this weird, you're trying to be coy, but it's not really going to work out.
Yeah, Chrono Boost is going into the 7X core, but it's actually going to be a 3rd Nexus here. He's not going to spend that 400 minerals on extra gateways. A 3rd Nexus has been planted here by JYP. And he is on the other side of the map with the Zelton Stalker. Jaedong, you know, vividly trying to find out what's going on. He's sent an Overlord inside the main base. We'll see some more gateways being added on. But without the information that this 3rd Nexus is coming down, he doesn't really, doesn't have any ability to do anything about it yet.
Speed will recall out those Stalkers. Nice use of the recall there. And Jaedong is going for the 1-1 melee upgrades as well as lair, but what a big deal this is. This Overlord's perusing the main base, does not see anything. And that means that we're going to see just probably more drones coming out from Jaedong. He's not going to try to leverage any kind of big attack against this 3rd, which would have been a big deal because not only is this 3rd kind of coming close to finishing, but the Mothership Core just used all its energy recalling out. So if there ever was a time to crash in on a soft 3rd like this, it would be now. But Jaedong is none the wiser, so he just simply is not preparing to do it.
Well, he's sending out all his Zerglings now. He's going to find out what exactly is going on in the next couple of seconds here.
That looks cool. That's like a sonar. Just did that on the little mini-map there.
I'm really happy you did that.
Thank you.
1-1 is almost completed here for Jaedong, and I think we may see a couple of units here. The problem is that the Nexus is almost completed, or is completed now. There's going to be a Photon Overcharge available, there's sentries, there's quite a few, so if you did try to build units here, I'm not too sure he'd be that successful.
No.
He does have Roach Speed, Roach Burrow.
Yeah.
What are his plans?
You almost always have to be worried about a JYP attack. It can just kind of fumble and bumble its way into your face from any seeming direction. So that's why we see him being so diligent about looking for those proxy pylons and kind of keeping tabs on JYP. But I fully agree with you. Because he didn't know about that Nexus at an earlier state, there's no way you can reactively attack into it. But I like Jaedong's decision. He collapsed on that cannon. He's freed up a 4th base for himself. As long as he manages a 1 or 2 base advantage over the Protoss, he's in pretty good shape. It's when you're in equal bases that we really get concerned for the server.
Jaedong's decided to switch up his upgrades here. He's actually gone over to range instead of continuing through with 2-2, which is a little bit surprising. I thought maybe he, may go up to like a Ling Infesta playstyle, maybe going up towards Ultralist, because that's the way his upgrades were initially going. But he's gone for a change.
This is a fake attack, by the way. He also has the
Spire down too.
This attack will pick off the hatchery if Jaedong's out of position, but with the creep spread as far and wide as Jaedong has done it here, there's no way it gets anywhere near it, and there's no warp-in pylon. We see a probe just now making its way out on the map, but of course it's very late. That being said, though, Blink is about to finish, and JYP does have quite a few gateways, a few more being added in and turning into warp gates. So this could get dangerous. To your point, though, I'm a little bit baffled by that. I mean, Spire's about to finish. There's Tunneling Claws. We know Jaedong's famous for his Mutalisk switches.
Yeah.
But I know, there's no real but here. I guess he's just really upgrading range attack because he wants to absorb a mid-game aggression. It's not coming.
He could have also upgraded something else. He could have got melee or carapace here, so he's thrown a lot of his resources into attack. He's now decided to get that +2 carapace, but in before that, he's got a lot of units. He's at 173 supply. These DTs are going to be a nightmare for Jaedong. They're going to pick off this hatchery.
Let's see if Jaedong picks up on this. He has units over there willing to receive, but there's no detection, no Overseer, no Spore Crawler.
He's moving forward for an attack. He's not ready for this.
He is not ready, and those DTs are going to work on the drone line. Jaedong just now reacting, not yet pulling the drones. Devastating damage being done by these 2 DTs. A 3rd DT making its way to the natural. An undersaturated natural, by the way. A little bit odd for JYP to kind of wander into, but this is really nice because Apollo behind this, double Robos finishing. We have Immortals coming out, willing to receive this seemingly kind of strange Roach tech. But then also, of course, he can go into Colossus if he really wants to as well.
Well, this has bought JYP so much time.
Yeah.
He was at about 110 supply when the first attack was moving over, but these DTs have brought Jaedong back, and now he's sitting at 135. As you said, 2 Immortals per time coming out, +3 attack has been started. I imagine +2 attack finish in the last couple of seconds as well. And JYP sitting pretty comfortable here. Jaedong doesn't want to sit back too much and relax. He's got to be on form. He's got to make sure he is scouting out all these small things. That little DT
I love this from JYP.
Is pretty good here.
Yeah, the DT was wonderful. Did a lot of damage, bought time, as you said. Top right-hand side, this is it's considered, a hidden base, but it's on the safer side. It's on the Protoss half of the map. But there's a really good chance that Jaedong just never finds this, and it's going to really send a lot of misinformation, and of course give the Protoss player a lot of money in their own right. There is that Tunneling Claws going to work, but these are Blink Stalkers they can pursue, and Jaedong's in a lot of trouble. He's getting sandwiched here. He does pick off the Archon. That's nice, I guess, but there's so many Blink Stalkers here, and we all know what Blink Stalkers can do. Those are snowball units. If this number gets out of hand, they can just end the game.
Well, there is an Observer there, so this Burrow isn't going to help out too much, and JYP blinks forward. Is going to start doing a lot of damage to these. Jaedong knows he's going nowhere, so he turns around and fights. 16 Mutalisks coming in.
Yeah.
How well are they going to work here? 17.
He's got a lot of Mutalisks coming in. There is a warp-in pylon, that DT delivering pylon on the left side, and I'll tell you what, Jaedong only has a grip of Zerglings to support this. He's got an incredibly soft army. These Mutalisks are not upgraded, keep in mind. Well, they got 1 attack, but this Protoss army is coming. It's at 2 attack, closing on 3 attack. No force, was a little bit late there, so JYP, if he was ever going to lose this fight, it has to be now, but Jaedong is fighting with Mutalisks, which is a situation you just simply never want as a Zerg player unless you're going for the final kill, and this is not it. He's defending. Yeah,
he's defending this right now, and there are 34 more Zerglings coming in. The Mutalisks do pull back as they start to wear down. Is Jaedong going to be able to defend this? He's got a lot more units coming. He's got 4 bases, but there's DTs on that base to the right, and this looks really difficult with more and more units streaming in. +3 attack, not too far away. Jaedong is dropping in supply, and JYP says, yeah, you're a fan favorite, but I'm not going to make it easy for you to move on.
Really well done by JYP. Kind of baffling all of us. He did go for that super fast 3rd Nexus on Whirlwind, which can be a pretty big risk to take, but he got a little bit lucky. Jaedong didn't pick up on it, or you can consider that just Jaedong didn't do due diligence. And then followed up with a nice little mid-game DT harass, getting himself some time, as we talked about, but also killing a lot of the drones. And all of a sudden, Jaedong's one game away from being eliminated.
One game away. Imagine if Jaedong got eliminated here in a series. I'd imagine he's feeling very confident in. He's played against the best Protoss players in the world. And now he's playing up against JYP, who he described is good. He's a good player. He's very intelligent. He's got gimmicky play. He can trick you. And I really think that Jaedong was probably expecting, I'm sorry, JYP, but I'm the one that's going to move on from this game and get ready to face up against Leonark or Naniwa.
Well, game number one, it was a very much so failed cannon rush. Game number two, there's people on both sides of the fence to call it either a successful cannon rush. It's certainly not necessarily a failed one, but kind of a neutral, maybe not a fully beneficial cannon rush. It's kind of weird to call it that. He just got a cancellation out of it and had to pay some money for it. But from there, I really like JYP's follow-up. And even the double robo going immortal first, we haven't seen a whole lot of it, but those burrow roaches can be super deadly, especially on a map like Whirlwind, which is pretty wide open. Had Jaedong done that, he would have got slammed hard, but even the Blink Stalkers are a nice kind of catch-all.
So what do you think's going through Jaedong's mind right now as he sits in that booth waiting for JYP to return?
He's wondering if he can get away with punching JYP and still being on the same team. Like, look at that guy. He gets really mad.
Is that acceptable in your team?
To punch someone?
And still be on the team?
No, I don't think so.
No?
We haven't tried it out too much, though.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
It's not what I heard. I've heard some stories.
Some punching going on in our team?
There's a reason why Stefano retired. You're a big guy.
That's just not even that funny.
Wasn't trying to be funny. JYP
then you were naturally not funny.
To his booth, and we will be getting this game underway in a couple of seconds' time.
He just went in the bathroom and screamed and danced and kicked his feet a little bit. Didn't want to show it. He's a true pro. He's happy, though. If he wins this, he's promised us to sing, so that is the good news about knocking out Jaedong.
Jaedong, probably checking Twitter.
Yeah. I don't know, got nothing for that. Map is going to be Derelict Watcher, another map. We've kind of seen this sequence of maps in these series. Pretty good for the Zerg player, again, but JYP is a crafty foe, man. We saw in Whirlwind, we talked about how that's a good map for ZvP, but that did not slow down JYP at all. He went on to a pretty decisive and convincing win.
So, this next map, Derelict Watcher, why is it that Protoss players have such a hard time against Zerg players? And when it comes to the World Championship Series this year, stats were in favor of Zerg quite heavily.
A lot of times Protoss live and die by their force fields. And on a map where it's very wide open for large portions of the map, that can be a very difficult thing to deal with, because backing off and not being able to rely on your force fields narrows your ability and kind of the scariness of the Protoss. If they don't have force fields at their disposal, they're like, okay, well, let's check off any kind of two-base Immortal, and like we saw from Naniwa, I mean, it just got shut down so hard by Life. There was no question of like, well, Naniwa should have microed this differently. No, actually, it was just a math equation. It was just never going to work, which means the Zerg can just, again, just mark things off that list and start to focus their efforts on other options.
All right, well, we're almost ready for this next game. As Jaedong...
Man, when he loses,
looks happy.
He is pissed. His whole face gets pulled down to the earth.
He almost looks a little confused.
He's not used to it. He's like, what? JYP.
God, he does have that droopy face. It's kind of...
Yeah, it's sad, man.
He's like, you okay, JD? You okay,
the man lives and dies off of passion. Ooh. Winning passion. And when he wins,
I'm just staring at that face right now. Oh,
there's a smile.
Was that a grin?
He like pulled his the whole center of his face sucked up into his nose. It was a weird facial motion. There's the guy that ate pizza yesterday. Hard to see him in that white booth, but you can see the red hair at the top of whatever is moving below it.
I'm happy that he's here to help us.
Yeah.
Doing a great job.
He can't hear us right now. We're safe. Nope. And he doesn't watch VODs.
All right, so we're now loading into the game. Thank you very much for being with us. Game number 3 is upon us. One apiece, please. introduce the game as your favorite caster that introduces games. I know
I tried. I actually tried to do Nathanias that last time, but it's not good
I didn't
enough.
know that was
Yeah, I know.
Nathanias,
It's not good.
I want you to do Total Biscuit and then Tasteless. So start off with JD as Total Biscuit, please.
My British has gotten so bad. Right. Lower left-hand side in the blue trunks.
No, Jaedong, Jaedong. You did it wrong.
Oh, damn it, Adebisi.
Jaedong.
In the top right-hand side in the red trunks. It's like Australian. I can't do it. I messed it up.
Jaedong!
Jaedong! I need to watch more VODs of British people and stuff.
All right. Tasteless.
Tasteless on Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday.
All right. Our left-hand side. Evil geniuses. Follow me at GOM TV. Call me Tasteless. It's JYP. And I know that that won't offend him because he doesn't watch tournaments, so it's fine.
Thank you very much for that iNcontroL.
Gateway Expand coming out from JYP. That impression doubles as Christian Bale doing Batman, by the way.
It's definitely Tasteless.
It's my utility impression.
All right, so no cannon rush.
First. Well,
Put a spawn and pull out of Jaedong in case there was a third.
He could go for the Gateway Cannon Rush. I wouldn't put it past him. But it's spawning pool first from JD. He's going to play safe in this third game. He's had enough of this Cannon Rush opening, and this is a come at me bro opening. He's basically saying try the Cannon Rush. Of course, it'll be kind of sad to find out that if you're going to go one gate expand, you're hoping for 15 spawning pool. That's a fantastic opening to look into.
Jaedong did actually hide his drone on the natural behind the mineral line as the probe came up, so the probe didn't see it there, therefore went inside the main base. And he was able to get the hatchery down at a really good time considering the probe was there so early. Could have blocked it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a little bit of silver lining there. Just a pair of Zerglings being made, so Jaedong is kind of recalibrating right now. The Overlord still hasn't reached the natural, so he does not know what he's facing. But unless you drone scout, again, that's very, very typical. JYP at home, chrono boosting out the probes. He has 2 on each gas. It is worth noting that he does have double gas. I know that SOS and Deer in particular have been doing a 1-gate expand variation that just relies on the 1 gas, allowing them to get a few more minerals earlier on to get that faster nexus.
So, I mean, with double gases that has been taken here, and it looks like the nexus should come down. With double gases taken so early on, what tech choices, through mining an extra 200 gas already, of course the mothership core is being built, does JYP have on the table here?
All of them, to be honest with you. You know, we've already seen... Well, we've seen a couple of tech pass from him. I mean, it's a classic question. A lot of people look at this and they think that it's some kind of like a real big sell, that there's going to be a super cheese. I mean, he could throw down the Twilight Council. That would be the opening that he did against TLO, just a different map. But I feel like it should just be 3 gateways, several sentries, move out with the mothership core, try to aggro out some Zerglings. If Jaedong is playing super greedy, you have a chance of picking off that 3rd hatchery, and then going from there. It can be Stargate to follow that up. That's been very popular here, but we've seen Robo, Twilight Council, everything.
So the answer is anything.
Yeah, well, there it is, the Stargate, actually.
Okay, so Stargate is down. The Jaedong Zerglings are being chased away from the natural ramp here, so he hasn't actually picked up that information yet. Another Overlord is making its way to the main base. Not going to pick up anything because that Stalker is being chrono boosted out and should be able to see the Overlord enter and chase it away.
Well, this is working out really nice for JYP. Yeah, I mean, this is a spot that some people would put their tech to hide it. Of course, the Wallen is the equally as common of a spot. And Jaedong is circling around with these Zerglings. It'd be really important that they find out about this Stargate. Otherwise, this hodgepodge group of gateway units plus the mothership core and then an Oracle to follow up could be devastating to a 3rd base.
Well, Zerglings have found their way, or at least one, sorry, has found their way to the natural and sees the Stargate. Doesn't see what's come out of it yet. But Jaedong's Queen, off creep, going to take a bit of damage here, and is going to get picked off.
Oh, yep, there we go. Actually got both. Nice control there from JYP. Other Queen's going to back away and try to hide over here. It's just a Stalker, Zealot, and a Mothership Core, but that's a very inconvenient little bundle of units. As you can see, Jaedong is squeezing out some Zerglings, so he should be able to handle this, but with the damage taken on that Queen, we could see a 2nd Queen go down. I think we will. I mean, what is it going to do? Turn around and shoot at the Mothership Core? No siree, Bob.
Wow.
Does get the inject, though.
Here. JYP. It's pretty big, actually. And an Oracle coming across. Now he's going to get into the drone line. And things have gone from bad to worse here for Jaedong. Started off this series really strong, almost playing around with JYP. Then Game 2, he's lost. In Game 3, he's taking a bit of damage here.
Yeah.
He's got to be careful, otherwise Jaedong may be losing this series to JYP.
Oracle's going to make its way up into the main base. There's a healthy queen there and a finishing Spore Crawler. With the two queens dinking and donking up against that Oracle, it should be okay. Meanwhile, we had a little bit of a Ling attempt at the front of JYP's base, but with the force field and the two Stalkers, he was able to repel that painlessly. And we see a Void Ray follow up on that Stargate, so it could just be a very similar kind of cookie-cutter build. Oh, that poor queen. Well...
You mean Oracle?
No, the Oracle's great. Not poor at all. It walked past a move command queen, man.
It's Protoss bias, man.
Protoss bias. Year of Hearthstone, hashtag.
Jaedong, with this fast layer, where is he going with this fast layer? I mean, it's a pretty good time. He's got really nothing else to suggest he's going anywhere else. I mean, what exactly is he doing? I actually don't know.
Well, it's kind of the same thing. It just finishes, so maybe it's fast Spire. Nope, Hydralisk. He's going to need those Hydras, though, because we had 4 more gateways added on inside of JYP's base.
Yeah, no gases on the natural.
Total of 7.
So, I mean, with the Hydralisk dead down, they're obviously great, but in lower numbers, and especially when there's going to be a lot of force fields around. I think there's quite a few, isn't there, around? Or how many are there?
No, just
okay, there's
one.
only one. So this isn't as bad as I thought. We are going to see this Hydralisk play, and there's only 39 probes. This third Nexus...
Yeah, and this is a fake third Nexus.
Yeah, it's only 39 probes. This is really, really low here. Did Jaedong spot the third Nexus? Who is he trying to fool if Jaedong hasn't seen it?
He spotted the pylon and the Void Ray protecting the Nexus. I believe he saw it as well.
But Jaedong's already built himself up to be kind of aggressive anyway. He's got nothing other than Hydralisk on the way. He's got no upgrades. He's got no Roach Warren. This is a Hydralisk Zergling play, but that's kind of good against what JYP has.
It's really weird. I mean, JYP is definitely doing an all-in, guys. He's not building any probes at all. His Chrono Boost is stacking up a little bit. He only actually has, he's actually undersaturated, if you can believe. He's got 15 probes inside his main. But what's weird about this is this third Nexus eggs the Zerg on for his aggression. It's like, hey, make a bunch of Hydras. And then he's like, surprise, now I've got units. But he already, and actually... Yeah, Jaedong's not going to see that it's canceled, but he's about to find out there's an absolute crap ton of units in the middle of the map.
But like you mentioned, the Nexus is already egging Jaedong on to go for it. He's building an army to go cancel the third base, but here he gets found out in the middle of the map. The 2 force fields trap 1, 2 Hydralisk, 3 Hydralisk. But with the amount of units that Jaedong has coming out, will he have enough to defend this? Hydralisk
it's going to be close, Apollo. There's a lot of units here. Zergling is desperately trying to run in. They are on creep. The force fields are mostly being exhaust, and it looks like Jaedong might have bought enough time for himself. He's going to go ahead and clamp down on this Protoss army. Another time warp does go down, but without force fields to separate the Zerg army from the Protoss, well, actually, as I say, it's going to be close. I mean, that's a lot of Protoss units, and these Void Rays are holding.
Void Rays are being microed well here. Jaedong has 12 more Hydralisks. We may have to see drones come in. Remember, this is the last game of this best of 3. Is Jaedong going to be able to defend? He has
all down to this.
A lot of Zerglings coming, but are these 3 Void Rays with a bunch of ground units below them going to be enough here for JYP?
It's absolutely all down to this. The Hydralisks cannot get stuck here, but they do. 4 Hydras are trapped on the other side, and there's a little bit of a surround. Drones coming up through the flank. I don't know if it's enough. The Zealots are guarding that flank so powerfully, and it's still 3 Void Rays. JYP has fantastic army control. That's one of his absolute strengths. And Jaedong seems to be falling apart at the seams.
He's got 60 drones. He's got more supply, but they're drones at this point.
That's
the actual
not enough.
army is a little bit low here. More units
That's
getting walked in, and JYP may be able to beat Jaedong here.
Jaedong is coming to grips with reality right now. JYP has sat down with the Tyrant and is about to 2-1 him and eliminate him from DreamHack winner. There it is, JYP with a big upset and a huge win for his year and his career. And now, as a teammate of Jaedong, he's going to have to go embrace the guy. Pay some respects.
JYP, wow, what a tournament. Nobody really expected him to do this well. And he does go over to Jaedong to say good game. And JYP, coming from the lower bracket, having to go through TLO first, beating TLO, and now taking out Jaedong. JYP will play the winner tomorrow of our next game, which is going to be Naniwa versus Lenog. A massive win there for JYP. I think you can safely say that that is an upset here at DreamHack Open.
Absolutely huge upset. And I know a lot of people are going to look at that series and be pretty upset because they want real legitimate wins when a big superstar is knocked out. But, I mean, give a tip of the hat to JYP because I'll tell you what, if anyone's in his position, they'll do any and everything possible to just get a win off of Jaedong. Like, it is not easy to sit in a booth for tens of thousands of dollars, face Jaedong, and come out successful. But JYP on this day has done that. So